ಗುಡ್ ಜಾಬ್
ಐ ಫೀಲ್ ದರ್ಜೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದಾ?
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದು.
We're in the South Bengaluru seat this morning, on the road with Tejasvi Surya, the youngest MP from the BJP. At the age of 28, he was voted from here, and he's running again for the
Namaskara,
second
sir.
time at the age
Arama.
of 33.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
And he will be up against a sitting minister in Karnataka, Ramalinga Reddy's daughter, Soumya Reddy. Good morning, Tejasvi.
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ನಿರಂಜನ್.
How's it looking in South Bengaluru this time?
Well, bright and sunny and a lot of smiles here. People are very excited to vote for the Prime Minister on the 26th of April. The last 5 years has been an incredible learning experience for me personally. It has also been a period where we have contributed significantly to the city. The last decade has been really transformative for the country, and people of Bengaluru, people of South Bengaluru especially, are extremely vigilant voters. They are very aware voters. And in that sense, they are very keenly observant of the transformation the country has witnessed over the last decade under the Prime Minister's leadership. They want this political stability that has brought so much good to India to continue. And I'm very confident that we will win Bengaluru South this time with a much bigger margin than what we won last time. Namaskara, good morning. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಹೋ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಭಾಳ ರಿಸೆಂಬ್ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಏನು ಲಾಫಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್? ಹೌದಾ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ನಿಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅಮ್ಮ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು yes 28 yes absolutely thank you ಬನ್ನಿ.
He's very approachable. That makes him very popular here in Bengaluru. Tejasvi, it's a young city. Aspirations of the youth. I mean, we've seen the number of students who come from outside to study in Bengaluru. What are the challenges that you face as an MP in this city?
Well, Bengaluru is an extremely cosmopolitan city. People have come to this city, have made this city what it is, because the city is so open, it is all inclusive, and you know, the acceptance of everybody, the way they are, that is something that has defined the growth of the city. So one is we need to keep that culture alive while maintaining the traditional roots of how the city came about, the culture of the city, the ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾತ್ರೆಗಳು, ಊರ್ ಹಬ್ಬಾಸ್, all of these things, you know, keeping all of that intact as well. The challenges perhaps here is twofold. One, many a times people, you know, because many times the very basics are sometimes not attended to or catered well by the local municipal authorities. People would want MPs also to cater to you know, those functions, but the challenges as a city itself has been multifold. For example, in the last couple of decades, the economic growth of Bengaluru has far outpaced the infrastructure growth of the city, which is why you see such large you know, traffic jams, people complaining about lack of infrastructure. So I think the primary focus of the Modi government and all of us MPs in Bengaluru has been to address this infrastructure crisis over the last 5 years, and I must say that we have done a pretty good job, because the last 5 years we have seen about 1,30,000 crore rupees worth infrastructure projects getting sanctioned to Bengaluru. And all of these projects are going to aid the city, city's growth, city's infrastructure augmentation in a very big way. For example, in the last 5 years, after all of us got elected as MPs from Bengaluru, and people of Bengaluru gave all the 3 MP seats to BJP, collectively all of us put efforts, and thanks to that, Bengaluru got a 30-year-old wait for Bengaluru suburban rail came to an end, and a 15,000 rupee project was sanctioned by the Modi government. Now the work on the suburban rail has started. In just the last 5 years, the Modi government has sanctioned 74 kilometers of metro connectivity to Bengaluru. So the blue line metro that you see, the Namaskara sir, good morning. Amma ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ನಮಗೆ.
Thank you amma, ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು. So metro is a very important a step towards decongestion of the city. The last 5 years we got 74 kilometers of metro connectivity opened, sanctioned for the city. The work is on in a very big way. To decongest the core of the city, we got the 15,800 crore worth STRR, the Satellite Town Ring Road project, sanctioned 6-lane highway that bypasses the city and connects all the exit and entry national highway points across the city. In the coming years, that's going to majorly decongest heavy vehicle traffic, transitory traffic from the city. The city also got a swanky airport, Kempegowda International Airport Terminal 2, built in the last 5 years. Namaskar amma, good morning. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಲಾಲ್ ಬಾಗಲ್ ನೋಡಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ.
ಹೌದಾ ಸರ್?
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅಮ್ಮ.
ಅದೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ನಮಗೆ.
These are in terms of infrastructure, major boost for the city. Also, Bengaluru has always been a city that has been the center for the country's aerospace industry. So we also recently saw the Prime Minister come here, open the Boeing R&D center. We also got a 48,000 crore order to manufacture LCA Tejas in Bengaluru's HAL, which again is going to add to creation of so much of employment and job opportunities in the city. So I think the city has greatly benefited in the last 5 years. So managing these expectations and addressing these issues on a war footing is what has been the challenges and a big learning curve over the last few years.
Okay. You have a young opponent here this time. Her name is Soumya Reddy. She's the sitting minister's son.
Daughter.
And, sorry, sitting minister's daughter. And I saw that there were several sons and daughters being given tickets this time. Out of the 28 seats, if I'm not wrong, there are at least 5 or 6 sons and daughters.
11 of them.
11 of them. Why is that?
Well,
and I hear that ministers were refusing to contest and they wanted to.
Well, the reason why the ministers are reluctant to contest is because they are very clear that the outcome of the elections are going to be something that is not to their liking. They are very, political leaders who are grounded are generally aware of the ground reality of their constituencies. So all of these ministers are aware that there's a groundswell of support in favor of the Prime Minister in their own constituencies. They do not want to contest and lose elections, and maybe also after losing elections lose their ministership also, which is why they are perhaps pushing their children to contest elections. And by doing so, the Congress party, by fielding 11 kids of ministers, is indicating two things. One, it is indicating the bankruptcy of leadership at all levels in the Congress party. Second, it is also an abject display of lack of internal democracy and possibility of growth for any normal karyakarta in the Congress party. So, Congress party is today coming across like a conglomeration of feudal lords. One big lord at the center, and then a few other feudal families underneath at different levels. And Congress party perhaps comes across as a conglomeration of all of these feudal lords. It is nothing but democratic. It is nothing but a vibrant democratic organization.
Now, let me ask you a question. For example, take the case of Pratap Simha. There is, yesterday one of the biggest headlines was about several leaders being upset in the BJP. Of course, Pratap Simha is campaigning for the Mysuru candidate, Vadiyar. But even within the BJP, is there some sense of discontent? I know you're handling it well, but you can't deny the fact that there is some sort of discontent. Some of them who've missed out on tickets.
See, it is only natural that in a political party where you have vibrant internal democracy, these expressions are very common. And it is also to the credit of the BJP that all of these discontentment is also handled in a manner that it generally does not jeopardize the larger objective of winning elections. But you are not seeing any discontent in the Congress party. In Karnataka, they have fielded 11 children of the ministers. You don't find here a murmur from anywhere. It only shows that either there is no competitive leadership that exists in these seats in the Congress party, and it also indicates that there is no internal democracy in the Congress party. So in an organization where there is internal democracy, vibrant internal democracy, it is only natural that there will be many claimants to a particular position. And when one particular person is offered or given that position, naturally for a few days until the new normal sets in, there is some kind of a discontentment that shows that the party is a vibrant internal democracy respecting party.
There's no doubt that you're popular, you're very controversial as well. Recently in Nagaratpete, you were there. Though there's absolutely nothing wrong in playing the Hanuman Chalisa, it was absolutely, he was in his place to play that. And what was happened was debated. Of course, we've criticized even the state government and the police for the handling of it. There was also a video of Tejasvi Surya asking people to gather in large numbers. Now, one of the things that the opposition says, the national opposition and here the ruling party says is, Tejasvi Surya is very, very controversial. He likes to trigger violence. He's very communal. How do you respond to them?
Give me one instance, a single instance, where I have tried to stoke or any of my actions or words triggered what you said is violence. Because it's a very serious charge you're making, violence.
Not me, I'm not making
whoever is making this charge, violence. I have gone there to seek justice for the victim.
Correct.
To stand in support of the person who was beaten black and blue by a mob.
Correct.
I have gone there to speak for those whose voices were stifled by those in power. When this guy went to file an FIR, up until my intervention, an FIR was not lodged in the police station. Is this law and order? Is this how a government must function? So what happens unfortunately in this country is, to a section of people, if you speak for justice and speak for justice for a particular community, and if that community happens to be a major community in the country, then the person speaking for the justice of that victim is somehow seen as controversial, communal, etc. But if tomorrow I were to speak for justice of a minority victim, then you will be secular. Then you are non-controversial. Then you are Aman ki Asha. So this is about, this just shows the perversion of political discourse in the country and how vote bank politics has adulterated the stream of the country's political discourse, the vocabulary itself. Fortunately, in a Congress regime, standing up for justice of a victim invites FIRs on you. And it's also, I went to the court the very next day and the court stayed the FIRs and the court has also reprimanded the state against filing such politically motivated cases.
You're an easy target for the Congress government and the charge against the BJP. And
I also have Niranjan, I also have another grouse. The other thing, Tejasvi Surya, controversial, whatever. Sometimes I feel, my constituency has the highest number of Janaushadhi Kendras in all of India.
Correct.
When I became MP, 2019, it had 14 Janaushadhi Kendras. Today we have 130 plus Janaushadhi Kendras. 2 lakh people are regular users. About 25 crore rupees is what they save. But this is not sensational to media.
No, not at all. I mean,
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. See, allow me to tell my grouse, whether you
go ahead.
highlight it or not is up to you.
Go ahead, please
but
go
I'm
ahead.
saying,
Yeah.
okay, this is a big this thing.
Yeah.
From the time of S.M. Krishna's tenure as Chief Minister, Bengaluru demanded a US consulate for Bengaluru, for our city, because you have such a large number of people living in US, they have to go to either Chennai, Hyderabad for visa stamping. I got it done 2 years ago. When the Prime Minister went this time, he was kind enough to get a US consulate approved for Bengaluru.
Correct.
And there was a video of the Honorable External Affairs Minister, kind of him to have, when he was here in Bangalore, telling people that was your MP who was behind my life, single-minded focus, every day coming and reminding, getting this whole thing done.
Yes.
But this is not sensational.
No, not at all.
So what I'm saying is, even for certain sections of the media who want to label a particular individual as controversial or whatever, it's only when you speak of a issue involving a few communities that it becomes sensational.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing. I've never seen a time when MPs would actually present their report cards.
Yeah.
And this is perhaps one of the first times, because you have people questioning MPs, even some within, I wouldn't say, all within your party, but even some within your party are being asked, saying, what exactly have you done for your constituency? At a time like that, for leaders like you, who present their report card, is fantastic. I saw Pratap Simha do that in Delhi, and he came back here and he met a few people, and I saw you doing that. Not many can boast of a report card, which is fantastic, right? So times have changed. I wouldn't say that. Now let's come back to, for example, South Bengaluru, right? It's been many people say that it's a BJP safe seat. Now I want to ask you a little bit about the work done here in the past as well. Do you want to also talk a little bit about Anant Kumar, because he's been a parliamentarian for many years, and you've also had, I've known him when I was in my early days, and you've also interacted with him, his family well, right? So what has been his contribution to this seat?
Anant Kumarji was a very tall leader, and along with Yediyurappa, he was that one force which built the BJP in Karnataka to be the force that it is today. There are pictures of Anant Kumar and Yediyurappa that you will find in party office and in online as well today, on two-wheelers, on scooters, old ambassador cars, traveling one city to another, building the party ground up. And here in the city, his contribution has been immense. When he was, Minister of Urban Affairs in the Vajpayee government, Minister of Civil Aviation in the Vajpayee government, he was instrumental in getting the metro to Bengaluru. He was instrumental in getting the new airport to Bengaluru. So these are, some of the major, highlights. He also served as a bridge between Delhi and Bengaluru for a very long time. Always, trying to protect and further the interests of the state. And that primarily has been Anant Kumar's legacy. And personally speaking, for me, I consider myself very fortunate because I got blessings and mentorship from both Anant Kumar and Anant Kumarji's, wife, Srimati Tejaswini ma'am. I was a volunteer for a long time in the NGO that she runs. So, she was always allowing me, giving me opportunities to, do like, organize a event, MC a program, do welcome speech in a program.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question about the 25, you mean now effectively 26 because you had Sumalata as well in the 17th Lok Sabha. When I speak to people and on debates, they ask whether all 25 or 26 MPs have been, I'm not saying about Bengaluru, I won't contest that, you've done a lot personally. Have you been able to raise issues, for example, the Kaveri issue? Second issue I would want to ask you about is the drought that Karnataka is facing. Do you think MPs should do more on specifically Karnataka larger issues?
Niranjan, let me give you 2-3 instances and tell me if this has happened in any other time. Okay, with the pace at which it has happened in any other government. For example, before 2019, most of the central government examinations would take place in 2 languages, in Hindi and English. I, along with a few MPs from Karnataka, raised this issue in the parliament and demanded that rural, banking exams and central CAPF, CRPF type exams must all be conducted in regional languages also, and Kannada should be given primacy. For the first time, Government of India made a change and allowed for 18 regional languages in examinations. It did not happen under the Congress. If today young people in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, etc. are able to write central government examinations in the mother tongue, it's because of our government, it's because of the interventions of us MPs from Karnataka. Look at the Mahadai issue. The DPR for the Mahadai issue was approved during our government, during the Modi government. The Congress says we have not done enough. What were they doing about Mahadai when they were in power 10 years of the UPA? Second, regarding the Kaveri, every single time the Kaveri issue has come up before the Supreme Court or other tribunals, without an exception, the Modi government and the BJP government earlier, even during Vajpayee's time, has always filed affidavits in favor of the state of Karnataka. Even the original Kaveri award was later modified and another additional 14 TMC of water was sanctioned to Karnataka upon the central government's insistence. So when there is justice gone out of the way and justice is given to the state, the credit is not given to BJP. But random allegations are made that, BJP does not speak for Kaveri Mahadai. When did Mahadai DPR get approved during our time? When did Kaveri additional, modification of the original award happen during our time? Every single time Kaveri issue is, debated, whether it's at tribunals, whether it's at the Supreme Court level, without an exception, central government, Modi government, has always stood in favor of the state's water interests. One second. The Upper Bhadra project, it was in the last budget that Upper Bhadra project got 5,400 crores allotted in the central government budget. What were they doing? Kalasa Banduri. Who gave the support? It was the Modi government which gave the support. So all of these projects that they speak of, whether it is the question of language, because for a state like Karnataka, which is a non-Hindi speaking state, language is a very important issue.
It is.
It is only under the Modi government's new national education policy that for the first time, regional languages, mother tongue education is now given a primacy. What was the Congress trying to do?
Issue of Kaveri water and the water being released until recently, about 3-4 months back, when it became an issue, people were protesting. Do you think our MPs maybe could have pressed the centre more to intervene in some way so that the water is not released to Tamil Nadu? I mean, could that have been possible?
We must understand how the system works. When you are in when you belong to a political party which is in power, you do not go out to media and put pressure on the government. There are official channels through which you do it.
Yeah.
And how is that reflected? It is reflected, the work of the MPs is reflected, of ruling party MPs is reflected when the government in power, the party that you belong to, when it files an affidavit in the Supreme Court before the Kaveri Water Tribunal, before the authority in favor of your state. We did that. And in every instance, the central government representative, the Secretary of Water Resources Department, Government of India, has always taken a stand that has favored the state of Karnataka. And you remember the statement that D.K. Shivkumar gave after Karnataka suffered an adverse order,
Yeah.
and we were made to release water to Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
He said, I welcome this order.
He did.
So somebody who goes, before media, goes on record and welcomes an adverse order, is seen or labelled as somebody protecting the interests of Karnataka, whereas MPs who through official channels have communicated the concerns of the state to the central government authorities, got an affidavit filed officially at various tribunals and government authorities of the central government, speak in favor of the state, try to protect the interests of the state, they are labelled as not doing enough. What is this other than politics that is based on lies?
Water has become a major issue. There is a huge shortage,
Yeah.
right? Now, is that mismanagement, and at what level? And is there any solution, do you think, as a parliamentarian to this issue?
Well, I think, Niranjan, there are, the problem is not something that, is created today or yesterday. The last major water project, so to speak, for the city was in 2012 when we started work on the Kaveri 4 and Kaveri 5. Since then, Bengaluru has grown leaps and bounds. Literally 1.4 lakh new water connections the BWSSB has given over the last few years. Unfortunately, all governments, I wouldn't want to get into party politics here, because every government has got a chance to govern the city and the state, has neglected the health of the city's lakes and are underwater as a result. If you see Bengaluru, our city gets water 110 kilometers away, pumped upstream from TK Halli. So in all of Asia, Bengaluru has perhaps receives one of the most inefficient and most expensive water. So we don't have a river source very nearby, which is why in his wisdom Kempe Gowda, who founded the city, had built a series of lakes to provide succor for the people of the city. Which is why when the lakes were vibrant, when lakes were thriving, it was so, groundwater was never a problem. So Bengaluru needs about 2,100 MLD of water per day, and we get around 1,450 MLD of water from Kaveri. The remaining 600-700 MLD of water is provided through the groundwater, through our bore wells. The reason why the crisis has become so acute this time is the groundwater has dried up, the bore wells have dried up because the groundwater levels have gone seriously low. Many of our major lakes, whether it is Vartur Lake, whether it is our Sarjapur Lake, whether it is Agara, Bellandur, these lakes have all dried up, further again making the problem more acute. While the water that we are getting from Kaveri has remained constant, the groundwater level depletion has caused the acute crisis. Even though law mandates rainwater harvesting mandatorily, most of the houses in Bengaluru has still not done the rainwater harvesting properly. So we need to, as a campaign, state, public representatives, NGOs, civil society, everybody drive a campaign to actually make rainwater harvesting mandatory in every house in Bangalore. That's the only way we can recharge our bore wells. Second, there are around 4.5 lakh bore wells in the city that privately people are running and people have dug up. builders, apartments, individual owners, etc. In most of these places, you don't have a water recharge pit next to a borewell because we have absolutely filled up everything with concrete. So naturally, there is no option for no possibility for groundwater recharge to take place. So I think we have to revisit those bore wells by now. Actually, on a war footing, start drilling recharge pits around the bore wells. The other thing that also needs to be done is, I was speaking to a water expert recently, and he was telling that Bengaluru gets around 19 TMC of rain water, and we hardly save any of that, and we hardly use any of that to recharge water. And if you have seen over the last few years, we have gone on a spree of white topping and concretizing almost every road in the city. By doing so, we don't allow water to seep inside the ground and recharge aquifers. So I think even that urban design has to be revisited. And we also need to make heavy investments through STPs near our lakes, so that the treated water can be used, sent to the lakes, and that is going to keep the lakes living and thriving. So I think these are things that need to be done. Also, the Kaveri Phase 5 is going to be completed in May. So that is additionally going to give us some more water. But that is it. You will not get any more Kaveri water.
Correct.
Unless you, of course, take it away from Mandya. That is the only way. So you either tell your farmers in Mandya to stop growing sugarcane, stop growing rice, and at their expense, Bengaluru will have to get its water.
You met Kumaraswamy yesterday, if I'm not wrong, right? What in your view is going to be the outcome of this alliance with the JDS?
In many seats, it is going to be game changing. In some seats like ours, it is going to be a big strength in the arm to increase our victory margins. So net, I would say the JDS BJP alliance will do good for not only the two parties but also the state, because in at least the old Mysore region, it is going to give us a lot of strength, and it will convert into a lot of seats.
I believe
for us.
you've called him to be with you when you file your nomination. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the 4th of April, and he has kindly consented to join me on the nomination day.
And Brand Bengaluru is something that this government is trying to push. Do you think it's on the right track?
Niranjan, tell me 3 things. Forget 3. Tell me 2 things. In the last 10 months of this government, you are a very senior journalist. You follow the happenings of the state more closely than I do. Other than the token program, where a breakfast meeting was called with the usual, list of Bengaluru influencers with the Deputy Chief Minister, other than having filter coffee, Uppit and Kesri Baat in the program, tell me 2 concrete things that this government has done. Tell me.
No, I don't know. I don't think they have enough money to do half the work.
No.
They don't have any money right now.
The Deputy Chief Minister has officially told in multiple programs that do not expect development for the next few years. We don't have money for development.
So is it a feel-good campaign?
It is a PR campaign. I think, whichever agency has been, empaneled to do this campaign, they are the only beneficiary of this campaign. Other than that, I don't see Bengaluru or people of Bengaluru getting any benefit. What has Bengaluru caught, the headlines that Bengaluru has made over the last 8 months? There was Pakistan Zindabad slogans in the Vidhan Saudha. This is the headlines that we made. There was a bomb blast.
Correct.
At a very popular restaurant in the city. A bomb blast for almost the first time in almost 10 years in the city.
Over 10 years.
Yeah. And Deputy Chief Minister tells city MLAs that don't expect any funds for development. Even funds to even fill potholes. This is the 3rd news. 4th news, the 4th reason why we made headlines was an unprecedented water crisis where people are leaving the city because they don't have enough water. Correct. And you have not seen, at least I have not seen, you should tell me, correct me if I am wrong, Have you seen either the Chief Minister or Deputy Chief Minister during the entire water crisis issue, including today? Have they gone on the street once in any part of the city and tried to meet people and understand the situation from ground zero? I have not seen even in one instance. So what brand Bengaluru are you speaking of? On the other hand, in the last 5 years, the Modi government has given Bengaluru suburban rail, which was delayed for 30 years. We gave 75 kilometers of metro sanction. We are making the yellow line happen. We have given a US consulate to the city to keep, while you are, protecting those who say Pakistan Zindabad, while you say, the reason for Rameshwaram Cafe bomb blast may have been a business rivalry angle. We have given NIA branch office to the city to keep the city safe and protected. We have given, 14,000 houses under the PM Awas scheme to the city's poor. What have you given? And you speak of brand Bengaluru.
Now, do you play cricket?
Yeah, sure.
What do you bat? Are you a batsman or you a bowler? What do you do?
Batsman. I try to, when you play cricket, typically, at your house and gully cricket, what we call, everybody is an all-rounder. Everybody plays everything. So, I would have tried my hand at everything.
No, the question is, I think if there are 10 kids, 10 boys in Bangalore, 9 of them play cricket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, do you think RCB stands a chance in this season?
Well, I hope so, but I'm really happy that our girls actually won the cup.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, Isala Cup Namde is the campaign we keep trending. But yav salanu cup namd agalla. But this time, finally the girls made it happen and nami cup siktu. Good job, huh?
I feel that's it.
Howda? Super.
Single.
Correct silila touch agidire Niranjan 6-5.
Single. I wanted to ask you a question about this Guru Raghavendra Bank.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, the depositors had come to our office.
Yeah.
They're really struggling.
Yeah.
Right? What can you do for them?
Let me tell you what we have already done. Guru Raghavendra Bank issue came up a few years ago. About 2,000 crores is the total amount of fraud that has been committed by the promoters. I got criminal prosecution against them. The case is now with the CBI, the local CID, and even ED is looking at the papers. So in that sense, the criminal prosecution part is the wheels have moved. Insofar as the recovery of the monies are concerned, Modi government brought 3 important legislative changes which has protected the interests of crores of depositors in all cooperative banks across the country. It was only after the issue of Guru Raghavendra Bank in Bengaluru and the PMC Bank that 35A of the Banking Regulation Act was amended. And for the first time in the country, all cooperative banks were brought under the supervision of the RBI directly. So this is the first change that we brought. Second, the DICGC insurance scheme, which promised 50,000 rupees as insurance in case of a default of a bank or bankruptcy of a bank, that the Prime Minister increased to 5 lakh rupees. And the original proposition in the earlier regime was that the compensation amounts would be released upon the liquidation of the bank, which could take years and decades. That was also changed, and the 5 lakh insurance is mandated to be given to people within 90 days from the date of...
Somebody wants to give you something.
Sir, thank you. Hey, sir.
Sir.
ಸರ್ ಇದು ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳದ ಪ್ರಸಾದ
Oh, sir, thank you so much, sir.
ಸರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮದುವೆಯವರೇ ಬರಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ
Thank you so much, sir. Grateful. Thank you. So, from 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees, the insurance amount was increased, and within 90 days, the insurance amounts got credited to the accounts of the depositors. There are 42,000 depositors in the Guru Raghavendra Bank. Of that, around 35,000 of them have got their accounts cleared to the quantum of 788 crores is the amount of money that I got from the central government, and we released the money directly to the accounts of the depositors. And in fact, a group of depositors, I even sent them to Delhi to meet with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister himself handed out the insurance checks to the depositors. So you can understand the quantum of this impact. Out of 42,000 depositors, 35,000 of depositors have got their monies back. The whole of their money is back. Now the challenge is with respect to the remaining 7,000 depositors. The only way their interest could be protected is through revival of the bank. It's not a very easy proposition, because it is not easy to find an investor who is ready to invest upwards of 1,000 crore rupees to revive a bank of this nature. Efforts are being made, and I'm even now very confident that we will find a investor, and we will be able to revive the bank and protect the interests of everybody. But the fact remains that when 40,000 of these depositors were literally on the streets, it was the Modi government that came to their rescue, brought 3 legislative changes in a record span of time, made available 780 plus crores to our depositors, and within 90 days credited 5 lakh rupees to the accounts of the depositors. And it was during this Guru Raghavendra crisis that I again went to court as a lawyer, argued the cases myself on behalf of the depositors, argued for the appointment of an administrator, got a able administrator appointed, argued even at one instance against the RBI, and through the court got an additional 1 lakh rupees disbursal made available for all the depositors.
So finally, what will Modi 3.0, which looks inevitable now, be like?
It's going to be bigger, bolder, and it is going to be more transformational than what we have seen the last 10 years. If you look at the way broadly the last 10 years have worked out, the first 5 years, you would say, has been kind of filling the potholes, meeting the deficiencies or gaps of the previous governments. Financial inclusion, Jandhan, Ujjwala, toilets, these things, giving the basics, which wasn't given for the last 70 years. As a result of that, you lifted people out of poverty. The next 5 years was about fulfilling on our core commitments, solving legacy problems, which successive governments had only postponed due to lack of political will. 370, CA, Ram Mandir, these are big things that we did. Then the doubling down on expenditure on infrastructure, because you cannot build a first world country today, a developed country, without 21st century physical infrastructure. So you saw the 100 lakh crore being spent on creating new airports, new highways, high speed rail, all of these things. Now the next 5 years is going to be much more bolder, much more impactful, because it's in the next 5 years that we will consolidate the gains of the last 10 years and then finally take off to the position that India has always deserved at the global level. So we will be more vocal at global forums. There is going to be even faster paced infrastructure growth in the city. You will see our cities getting better, our standard of living of people increasing. We will be competing with the best in the world in every field. And I think that is the next 5 years of the Modi government. Aspirational, big, global impacting, transformatory in sense of the lives of the poorest of poor in India, absolute elimination of poverty in the country, taking larger and larger groups of people into the middle class, further strengthening them, quality of life, ease of life, much better. I think these are things that we will progress towards in the next 5 years.
All the best for your campaign.
Thank you so much,
Tejasvi Surya
Niranjan.
on the road. Good to talk to you.
Always.
And all the
Thank
best.
you so much, Niranjan. Always nice to talk to you. Thank you.